Alright, we're out here working on the red Jeep again. It's kind of a drizzly day, so I have my portable garage erected. Today's job is more front end work. Last time you saw, I had flipped my tie rod to an over the knuckle setup, and as opposed to the under the knuckle setup that I had before. Much improved there. Today I am going to start putting together my DIY steering box brace kit. Part of that is going to be pulling this Pitman Arm. So I went down to my local AutoZone and rented a Pitman Arm puller. So I'm going to spray this down with some more PB Blaster. I have been for the past couple days to try and make it easier. And we'll take a look at the instructions and see what it has me do first. I believe it is pull this Pitman Arm, I suppose. So the steering box brace kit that I went with was made by this company called BoostWorks Engineering. It's called the Ultimate Steering Box Brace. I went with the DIY kit, meaning that they ship it to me just in pieces and I have to assemble it, weld it together and whatnot, and because of that have more options to modify it and whatnot to my liking or needs. The instructions are actually pretty nicely laid out. They have color pictures and all that good stuff, and they do have a bit of humor in there. If you want, you can pause the video right now and read the tools required. It can be kind of humorous. But the first thing I'm going to be doing is some prep work to get the brace kit ready and whatnot. The first thing I have to do is hammer a lip flat, and then I have to remove the Pitman Arm nut. Now I'm going to take a step further and actually change my Pitman Arm, and I'm changing it to a Pitman Arm that's already reamed out to a 1-ton steering setup taper. The Pitman Arm that's on my Jeep out there is the factory one that I reamed myself, and I wasn't super happy with how the reaming job came out because I didn't really have the right tools and maybe a little bit of not the right knowledge to do it. So I decided to just spend a little bit of money. It actually doesn't cost that much, but I went and bought one from a shop that sells them pre-reamed out. Everything's factory about it except for the fact that it's reamed out to the proper taper. And so that's why I was penetrating the Pitman Arm with lots of PB Blaster because I'm going to have to pull this. On the Jeep itself, this lip right here is what I have to hammer flat, because that steering box brace kit mounts flush up against the front of the unibody frame rail, and this lip gets in the way, so you have to cut this out, hammer it flat, whatever you want to do. And here is the Pitman Arm, as I already pointed out. So I think the first thing I'm going to do is loosen this up, pull that off, and get that out of the way. I assure you that was much difficult, or I assure you this was much more difficult than it appears. Trust me. That nut was not coming off all on its own. As evidenced by the fact that I have that out. And if you're worried about heat transfer up into the steering box, this is cold as can be. The Pitman Arm itself is slightly warm, and it was just the nut that I was heating. Like, I could even touch this shaft right here. So if you're worried about heat transfer into my steering box, there wasn't any. So as you can see, my steering wheel isn't straight. It's actually pretty far cranked to the left. The Jeep goes straight. The wheels are set straight, but the steering wheel I can't make straight, and I'll show you why. This bar here, since I've now flipped my tie rod over to over knuckle, means it needs to be a lot shorter than it was before. And I actually ended up running out of adjustment in it. So it is as short as I can make it with adjustments here. So I suppose I had two options. I could either take the steering wheel off and move the steering wheel over a spline or two, and I think that should have worked. Or, since I'm already removing this Pitman arm, when I take it, I'll move that over a spline or two, assuming that I can. So we'll see how that goes. Like I was saying, I thought I could move my Pitman over a spline, but looking at the new one I have, it has a couple big splines in there, making it sort of keyed to a specific spot. So I don't think I'll be able to do that. So I'll have to do the steering wheel option, just take the steering wheel off and move it over a spline or two on the steering wheel, which should work. That's not guaranteed either, though. So it appears that my Jeep, for whatever reason, has a rubber seal here. You can take it, peel it up, and move it around. And I'm not really sure why mine has this and others don't, because I've looked at a couple how-tos, how to remove a Pitman arm pole to make sure, you know, I'm not going too far off the wire here. And for some reason mine has a rubber seal here, while others don't. So hopefully I can get my rented Pitman arm puller over that under the seal so I can have at it. I guess it's a good thing that there is a seal here on mine, because those splines under there are very clean looking, so this might go fairly easy. I'm just going to find the right wrench to go on here and have it. Before I do that, however, I am going to remove my drag link top mount here. You've seen me do this before when I was doing the last bit of work to this, and it's not any different. Just remove the castle nut by taking the cotter pin out, loosening that up, dropping her down. Nothing new. Things got weird. So I had to go to extreme measures, but I eventually got to a point where it cracked, relieving enough pressure where it was able to slide off. Fuck that thing. Alright, so I have coated my sector shaft with a liberal coating of anti-seize grease, so it never becomes a problem again. As stated, unfortunately I won't be able to adjust my steering wheel here because of the splines that are on the Pitman arm and the sector shaft have keys, so it only really goes one way. So I'm going to put my new Pitman arm in position. Now the Boosted Works steering brace kit comes with a new funny looking Pitman arm nut, and that'll make more sense later, because what the Boosted Works kit does is have a pillow block bearing that grabs onto this new Pitman arm nut and supports the steering box in that fashion. And it also does come with its own brand new lock washer, which I need to go get. Lock washer. New Pitman arm nut. Now, this Pitman arm nut is tightened to the factory spec of 185 foot-pounds, so you better have a torque wrench capable of that high of a torque, and you need a deep well. I believe it's 1 3/8 socket. 36mm is also really close. So that concludes this episode of the Red Jeep with Wagoneer 44s project. Next time we'll pick up with when I start to actually build the steering box brace that you're looking in front of you. But, of course, if you would, subscribe to the channel, give us a like, and make sure you share it with your friends.